I want to talk to you guys about the idea of sleeping with a lot of women, because honestly, my perspective on this concept has changed over the years as I've been in different phases throughout my journey. And as you probably know, I've coached hundreds of men over the years. And so I wanted to make a video talking about the ideas of lust, sleeping with a lot of women, finding the one, pickup artistry, having one night stands, all of these different topics I've experienced. I've been on different sides of it. As you guys may or may not know, I grew up very antisocial. My dad passed away when I was only 12 years old, and he was literally my coach in every sport: football, baseball, basketball. And he was honestly like my closest friend because I spent all my time with him. And so when he passed away, I felt like there was always this part of me that just like instinctually wanted to coach and help other men and really be like that father figure or that friend, that coach that I lost at a very young age. And yes, that was probably correlated to some sort of trauma from the death of him. And I mean, honestly, guys, all of the concepts in this video are in one way or another correlated around trauma. And that's why a lot of dudes get into pickup, self-development, male-female dynamics, because we grow up feeling rejected, or we're just like losers in childhood, or we're not confident, or we felt like we were ugly, and we just weren't successful with women. Like for one reason or another, we grew up with trauma and insecurity around these things. And so once we get older and we progress, I feel like a lot of dudes, they have this hurt child inside to one extent or another. Almost all the dudes I know that want to get better with women, they grew up not successful with this thing, and they got pain and trauma built up inside. And there's this part of us that just wants to go out and almost prove to ourselves that we can do this thing. I think instinctually as men, like a big accomplishment of a man is knowing he could go out and hunt, so to speak, and actually get women. I don't know any dude who wouldn't at least want to have possessed that skill set at one point in his life, at least for himself. He doesn't necessarily need to have a lot of women, have a ridiculously high body count, but I mean, I've coached over 1,000 dudes at this point in my life, and almost every dude I've talked to, they pretty much tell me in one form or another that before they actually get their dream relationship, what they really want to do is be able to build up social confidence, to be able to go out, to be able to create attraction with women so they can have somewhat of an abundant dating life, and they're no longer the one that is settling. They want to be the dude who can cultivate abundance in their dating life, have a lot of different options, have the skill set to be able to go out and create attraction, but then from that pool, they can then be the ones to select the partner that they really feel like is the most compatible with them. And so a lot of us feel like we need to go out and now prove this to ourselves, right? There's a lot of dudes who have had this old identity that got hurt in one way or another, either from childhood or from women or their upbringing, and now a new identity has been created as a means of protecting an old childhood identity. And that's something similar that happened to me. The two biggest points in my life was the death of my dad at 12 years old, and then my first girlfriend leaving me for another man. And so when that second incident happened, I was really hurt emotionally. I tried everything I could do to get that woman back into my life, and I failed. I literally pushed her into the arms of another man, and I then watched them date for years on end in my town. I would see them at the gym. I would see them happy together. It was a devastating experience to me. And so what I did was I actually dove really deep into pickup, male-female dynamics, social confidence, right? I was hurt. I was trying to get out of pain. And so I discovered these concepts, and I dove really deep into these concepts. I really became obsessed. I wanted to be the dude who got women. It was something I never experienced in my life, and I really wanted that for myself. I just thought it was cool. I wanted to be the guy that had the women and was successful with girls and got a lot of lays, because I was already in my mid-20s and I never experienced any of that. But also at the same time, there was also this new identity that was being created simultaneously of this dude that couldn't get hurt by women again. That was the honest truth, is that yes, there was a side of me of I want to get really good at this thing, but I had also put up this wall because I really did everything I could to get this first girl back, and she just shattered my heart. And so yes, it's great to go out and work on yourself and build up your social confidence and learn how to present yourself in the most attractive way possible. But also, I do think there's another side to this, which is a lot of dudes go out to do this thing as a means of protecting an old hurt identity simultaneously. And that was something I did, full transparency, guys. So I went out and I really did push myself, and I did become a lot more confident. Like, I worked on my communication, I worked on my social confidence. I got really good at being witty and how to create attraction with women and how to make friends and just have a magnetic vibe, honestly, when I was in my interaction. So there was a lot of benefits that came out of this, but also simultaneously, I'm not gonna lie, I honestly played a lot of women. Like, I would say over 90% of the girls I got with over the span of in my late 20s, like, I had no desire to be with those women long term. There was a lot of drunken hookups, one night stands, unprotected sex a lot of the times too. I was extremely unresponsible. I was extremely irresponsible for like a couple years during my journey where I just didn't care about anything other than really just having countless lays, getting the lay count up. There was just a lot of immature elements to it. And that is not to say that you can't go out and have casual relationships with women. Like, you can do that, but I do think there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. In hindsight, there was definitely a year or two in my journey where I got a little lost going down that path. I got a little carried away with it and did some things that I honestly, in hindsight, weren't the best. However, me going down those different paths and exploring those concepts and urges and ideas that I never experienced growing up, it gave me a lot more clarity and opened my eyes to a lot of these things. Because when I was in that first relationship, even though I lost that woman, honestly guys, there was a part of me that also simultaneously couldn't commit to that girl long term. She actually wanted to be with me when I was like 23, 24. She wanted to ultimately move towards marriage because we had already been together for almost 5 years. And I was at a point in my journey where I was like, I love you, but like, I haven't really been with any other girls, and I mean, as much as I can't see myself living without you, like, I feel like I would always have resentment if I didn't at least explore this area of my life a little bit more. And so for me, it was really tough. I couldn't break up with her, but I also couldn't commit to her a long time. I just didn't have certainty around these concepts. And so that brings me to the point I want to talk to you guys about, which is like, it's not necessarily a bad thing to explore these concepts. I'm not saying that you need to go out and bang hundreds of women to finally get clarity around this thing. But what I am saying is that if you're a dude who's never had any level of abundance in his dating life, if you've never cultivated the skill sets, if you've always wanted to explore some of these concepts and you feel like you're just kind of settling in your own life sexually and with your dating, and maybe you're not even trying to get better with these things, you need to go explore those things for your own certainty later on in life. Because what you don't want is to be 30, 40, 50 years old, you never really went after those things, and then even if a good girl does come around, you're not really gonna be happy in that relationship. So I'm telling you guys this because you need to bring awareness to what level are you at in this journey. Take a moment to bring awareness to like, where are you at? Are you a dude who's still desiring these things? Are you a dude who has always kind of wanted these but never even explored them? Like, you've never stood up, faced your fears, put yourself out there, pushed yourself through these things and really accomplished building up this skill set or achieving some level of abundance? Are you the dude who's gone through this but you still have some level of desire and flame around these concepts? Because that's okay too. I would say every dude has like a different level of flame and desire around this. But for some dudes, they have a bigger fire and it's a longer burning flame. Other dudes, it's a very short one. It just kind of depends on you, your upbringing, and what you've experienced in life. But I would say bring awareness to like, where are you at with this? But also, more importantly, find out why. What is the reason why you are chasing the thing that you're chasing? Because I didn't really have any idea. I was kind of blindly going about these things when I was in my 20s. It wasn't until I had gone through 2 different relationships, spent years going down these paths, went back, did a bunch of reflection and therapy, and also 100 days of celibacy. That was the last point I was going to discuss with you guys is, yes, you should go down and explore these paths, but at the same time, don't be so closed off to the idea of potentially celibacy. And that doesn't mean indefinitely. Some dudes might hear this and freak out. Oh my God, the pickup coach is going celibate, how ironic. No, dude, it's okay to actually detach for a period of time and remove yourself from these things that you may have been chasing for so long. I mean, I made a whole career off of this, okay? I took this to a very far point in my life. And so I thought it was actually healthy. I was just coming out of a relationship. I wanted to take time to clear my mind, do some internal reflection, and really detach from all of it for a little bit. And yes, you can go back after. I'm not saying you need to be celibate your whole life. I'm not saying you need to be a playboy your whole life. What I'm saying is explore both sides of this, which is what I've done. And I think you genuinely need to do that as a man to ultimately get to a point where you have certainty within yourself. If you don't have that, it's always gonna lead to resentment. Okay, so I'm not saying go bang a lot of women. I'm not saying sit home and be the holy man that's celibate. I'm saying pay attention to where are you at on this graph? What are you naturally drawn to? What is the why behind the reasons that you're drawn to that thing? And honestly, be open-minded to exploring both sides of it at different times in your life, because that's the only way you could really, at the end of the day, have clarity and have certainty on what you want long term. And if you're a dude who wants to fast track his own self-development journey, remove all of the bad habits, get dialed in on his social confidence, his dating life, and all the other elements to become top 1% of men, you could click the button below, check out my brand new coaching program. Links in the description. Got an incredible offer going on right now, completely risk-free. You could try it out for 1 month. Just click the link below, check out that video. That's all for this one, guys. Peace out.